Welcome to the Mike Litton Experience podcast. Mike has over 31 years experience in real estate, finance, and investing. He's passionate about being a father, a teacher, a realtor, an investor, and a leader. Everyone has a story, and our passion is to help them tell it. And now, introducing the host of the Mike Litton Experience, Mike Litton.
So what can you expect from the Mike Litton Experience? You can expect stories that will inspire, motivate, advice that will sharpen your focus, and expert information on real estate, finance, and market conditions.
I'm serious, man. There's a NAR will tell you a very small percentage, I think it's 3 or 4% of the people that come into an open house actually buy it.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly rare.
Yeah. And I was completely transparent with the couple. They came in, they're like, Mark, we love this house. We want it, but we have to sell our townhouse in order to be able to afford it. Mm-hmm. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Listing and a buyer.
Sure.
So I go into Claudia's office on Monday. I'm like, hey, I have a listing appointment. Somebody wants to buy and sell this house. They're like, yeah, sure you do. And I'm like, no, it's 5 o'clock on Tuesday. Like, what the heck do I do?
Right.
So she's like, oh gosh. Okay. So then we go, she comes to the listing appointment with me. We get the listing, she gets it done. So my first transaction as a realtor, front and back was $1 million.
Wow.
600 purchase, 400 sell.
Good job.
So in the first
awesome.
34
And you said
days,
5 days in, right?
5 days in.
Yeah.
I think I started January 14th was my first day that I signed on officially with the brokerage. Had it, the open house on the 20th. Next thing you know, I'm in escrow by the 23rd on 2 properties.
Wow.
And I'm like,
That's incredible.
this is easy.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is awesome. And then when I got my first check at the time, this is the most amount of money I've ever made in my life.
Oh, sure.
So I've never, to this day, I have not felt richer than I did in that moment, because here you are coming, from $100, $200 in your bank account as a broke college student to all of a sudden making 5 figures on one transaction. You're just like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Okay,
this is cool.
This is real.
Yeah.
And then started kicking off some more transactions, started to follow. I think I opened like 4 escrows within my first quarter as a realtor.
Awesome.
And I'm thinking, I'm going to crush it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. But then you know what? The ego started to kick in, because then I went dry for about 5 months and got to experience what that was like.
Yeah.
Turns out the law law of averages starts to kick in, right?
It does, actually.
So,
it does, actually.
And then my first year, ended with 6 transactions, and I did 4 of them in the first quarter.
Right.
So humbled me a little bit. Here I am thinking I'm God's gift to earth at the age of 25 because I got 4 escrows under my belt.
Yeah.
And then reality set in, and then it's like, okay, you know what? Just like you learn from the losses, you need to learn from the wins.
Yep.
And you got to adapt that Tom Brady mentality. It's like, I don't care what I did. I care about what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And then that was my shift going forward. And then second year in, 9 transactions. Third year in, hit 13 transactions, made the top 10% of realtors in San Diego.
When did we meet?
We met in 2019.
Okay, so that was 4 years ago.
You came in and coached a class, and still to this day, the tools that you taught that class, I implemented into my business from day one.
Oh, cool.
So what you taught, 25-year-old me definitely has helped me remain in this career for the last 5 years, when it's with a 90% fail rate. So for that, I thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Yeah. You're welcome. I'm happy to do it. I mean, I know I hide it well, but I really enjoy doing it. It's teaching is a real passion of mine, and it's something that I've been doing for a very, very long time, like 3 decades.
Yeah.
And I've done it because there's been, I feel like, a real chasm out there, a real lack of knowledge and a real lack of people wanting to share. Like in our industry, it's incredibly competitive. And it's very rare that somebody's willing to come in from your local market and teach you how to succeed, right, in your local market. Deal is, this is a big, big business, right? It's small in terms of the number of people that are in an elite status in our business, like we all know each other, type thing. But it's a big business in terms of the total number of transactions. And I feel like it's important to give back, to share with people what I've learned in 31 plus years. It'll be 32 in February.
Oh.
I got to stop telling people that. I started when I was 5, just so we're clear. Okay.
Well, I don't want to age you, but I turned 30 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, you're aging me, all right. Smart Alec. Okay, so you went to work for Max and Claudia, and you worked for them for how many years? 4?
So I was with the Zaker Group all the way up until January of this year.
Oh, okay. So more than 4 then.
Yeah, 5. So I was with them officially from 2017 to 2023.
Yeah. So wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And still with them. Just now
yeah.
Now at a different capacity.
Yeah. So you were on their team. Just so we're clear, you were on their team, and now you're on your own. You're doing your own thing. You're still under their brokerage, and we're in their brokerage, like we talked about,
Right.
and in their studio. Thanks again, guys, for doing this. So that takes us up to today. Okay. So let's talk about this for a second.
Okay.
What was the most important thing you learned on the Zaker team?
The most important thing that I learned on the Zaker Group is to be completely transparent with your clients.
Yeah.
Do not hide anything. Do not try and do anything, sweep anything under the rug, because the real estate license ultimately can make you a very wealthy person, and it can retire you very quickly. Or it can also give you a lot of lawsuits and a lot of headaches.
Yeah.
So because they've been broker owners for the last, X number of years, they've seen all the good, but also get hit with all of the bad in terms of agents having to, go through different lawsuits and stuff. So they always taught me how to not get sued.
So risk mitigation, that's a big deal.
That was the biggest thing. And I'm proud to say, in my 5 years that everything that I've done has been by the book and with the best intentions from putting my clients first.
Yeah, I don't doubt that about you. Knowing you as well as I do, I don't doubt that about you. So risk mitigation was something. It's in our business and where we are in Southern California, it's very litigious.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and there are literally, you've heard of ambulance chasers, right? There are literally ambulance chasers out there that are out chasing real estate deals, and they're trying to catch you in something that you're doing so that they can dip into your pocket.
Yep.
And that was a big thing. I owned a Keller Williams office, as you know, for 18 years. That was a big deal for us. We taught risk mitigation and had a very, very low rate of deals that actually ended up in some sort of legal issue, and it was because we were very, very careful about what we taught and very aggressive about teaching risk mitigation and how to make sure that you're completely upfront with your client, that kind of thing.
100%.
All right, so we're here today, and full disclosure, you and I are actually in the middle of a deal. That's kind of how we ended up talking some more about this and reconnecting. But we're in a counter stage, so that's where we're at right now.
We're flirting right now.
Yeah, we're right. So you moved into the hub. How long ago now?
Hub opened officially in October.
Right.
So we've been here, going on about a month now.
About a month, yeah.
Yeah.
It's really nice, by the way. It's 15,000 square feet, right? I just took the tour, and my eyes are still wide because of it. So really nice. I love your office. It's very cool.
Thank you.
It's got a pink couch and a pink refrigerator in it. So it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month all year long in Marc's office. Very cool thing.
Yep.
And this is this place has a great vibe. It really does. It's really cool. They did it right.
They did. I think it's the most unique real estate office that we have here in San Diego County.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
You've been around the block a couple times.
A couple times.
Yeah, a couple times, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
but
pretty
don't
sure.
tell anybody.
Your secret's safe with me and the world. Yeah, so it's a joy to be able to come into this building each and every day, and we just got to keep the energy and the momentum going.
Yeah.
Especially right now with everybody's view on the markets, it's doomsday out there, but you know what? If you can create an environment where it's filled with positive energy, people are doing business, transacting, servicing their clients at a high level, energy just breeds energy.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I don't I don't agree with the doomsday thing.
Yeah.
And part of it is I've been doing this for so long. Pardon me. I've been doing this for so long, and I've seen so many different markets, right? Interest rates are high. Interest rates are as high as they've been in 17 years and all that kind of wonderful stuff, right?
What were the rates when you started your first year on real estate?
Actually, we're not going to talk about that because remember, I was 5. No, I'm kidding. So when I got started in the business in February of 1992, this is just really bad. You roped me into this, and that's not fair. So, not happy with you right now. So, February 1992, we were at 9.5% 30-year fixed, and it had been 10% 6 months prior. So in the last 6 months, it had come down 0.5%. And there was all kinds of talk about deflation, and I mean it was just crazy.
Yeah.
But it was also the beginning of a cliff. Like we were literally on the edge of a cliff, and the cliff was the Clinton administration at the time. Your background in politics, Clinton administration at the time was they were looking to, they in Congress were looking to cash in on what they called the peace dividend. And so what they were doing was they were slashing the defense budget by billions and hundreds of billions of dollars. What happened there was we were way, way, way over saturated, if you will, in San Diego in the real estate market with Lockheed Martin, all of these, McDonnell Douglas, all these different, Raytheon, all these different companies that were defense contractors that were General Dynamics. They were huge in Kearney Mesa. They were huge down by the airport, and they had a lot of employees. I'm talking tens of thousands of employees that ended up leaving, and they ended up going to Texas. They ended up moving their companies to Texas, all that, because they didn't need all those warehouses now. They didn't need all that space anymore. They didn't need as many workers. And so we ended up going into, in 1992, an honest-to-goodness real estate depression in San Diego County. And my timing being impeccable, I get into the business right when it happens. Right when we're going off a cliff, I get into the business. The good news is I learned a lot, right? I learned how to scrap. I learned how to scrape. I learned how to do what you needed to do to survive and to thrive in a market like that. And it was as much as my timing was terrible, it was a great way to get started, right? It was a baptism by fire kind of thing. So I don't quite agree with the doomsday thing today because we've seen a lot worse. We really have. And there was a time when I first got started in the business when the average time to sell a home, average market time, was over 6 months. It was over 180 days. So what we have right now is peanuts compared to that. Yeah. Okay? So I don't quite agree with the doomsday thing, but I do agree that the vast majority of our industry, that's their view. That's what they think. Okay?
Yeah.
Because the last 6 months, the last 6 years, the people that have gotten into this business haven't known anything else. They haven't known anything else except this absolutely unbelievable, my phone rings all the time and I'm constantly doing deals right and left. Now you've got to go out and work for it. Now you've got to go out and put the effort in, right? And I told you, I listened to a Tom Ferry thing on the way down. I'm all pumped up because Tom Ferry does that to me. But I listened to a Tom Ferry webinar on the way down, and the dude's amazing. I mean, he's just, you know that. Anyway, so there's tons of opportunity in this type of a market. And when everybody else is doomsday, and you know this, when everybody else is doomsday, with the right attitude, and this is what I love about you, by the way, with the right attitude and the right amount of action and the right amount of fortuitousness, so to speak, you can actually go out and gain market share. Yep. You can go out and do things that people will be absolutely blown away by. And I'm looking forward to seeing you do that because I know you'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay, so so tell us about Real Broker. So when I met you, full disclosure, I owned a Keller Williams office for 18 years. I got rid of that Keller Williams office due to my health, went to Tampa to sell new homes, came back, and I was invited to come teach at your office. I taught at your office. That's how we met. It was a Keller Williams office at the time. Now you guys have made the transition from Keller Williams over to Real Broker. Mm-hmm. Talk about the difference between the two. Talk about why Real Broker.
It's Real Broker. Yes, it's a national brokerage, just like all of the other big ones, but it's run more like a micro brokerage versus having to, answer to the national office.
Okay.
So it's structured completely different. I mean, we pretty much have autonomy to run the teams how we want. So
it's decentralized kind of thing? Okay.
I mean, there's still, parameters that you need to fall under, but in terms of I feel like I can go ahead and do my own thing, right?
Okay.
So The issue that we had the biggest was when we were Keller Williams, Chula Vista. If I wanted to go, because I live in Pacific Beach, if I wanted to open up a Keller Williams branded office there in association with Keller Williams, Chula Vista, I can't.
Right.
Because somebody else already owns the territory because
Correct.
it's a franchise.
You weren't going to be able to open an Escondido either.
I can do an Escondido because I'd have you knocking on my door.
Actually, I would have given you permission.
Oh. Yeah, so
I would have loved to have had you there.
So with Real, it's you want to throw up Team San Diego. You want to throw XYZ group, throw up XYZ group. Because at the end of the day, we're still a sub-team of Real Broker.
Gotcha.
And in those teams, we run them how we see fit.
Cool.
And so we're still bringing that hybrid model of if you want to be part of Real, where, it's everything is online, digital, you don't need an office. Or if you want to create that for yourself, you go ahead and create the hub.
Right.
If you have the community and the support and the vision to do it, you can do whatever you want with this banner.
Yeah. And I'll tell you just real quick about the hub thing. I know I've gone a little bit too much about that, but this is really cool. You guys have, in the tour you were giving me, you guys have an area that's basically designated for attorneys, designated for accountants, designated for people that they work in real estate, but they're ancillary to real estate, right? But they're also supportive of it. So it's, in our business, we do business with a lot of different types of affiliates, right? Vendors, that kind of thing. And you guys have escrow here, Marina Escrow's here. You've got the lending side here, right? You also have these other areas that are designated for these other vendors potentially.
Yep.
That's a very cool dynamic. And it's a real synergy that, I think is really wise. I mean, I like the way you guys have set this up.
Yeah.
And it sounds like Real lets you do that, right? So you have more, I don't know, call it what you want, flexibility than you had before in terms of how you go about designing it.
Yeah, and I think that a realtor is only as good as their network.
Yeah.
So I've always been a person, I got a person for something.
Yeah.
So now whenever my clients call me, like I need to continue to provide value to them
Yeah.
rather than just, here's the keys to your new house or here's my for sale sign in your front yard.
Right.
No, like I'm involved with them like every aspect of the way. So whatever it is that they need, I want them to be want me to be the point of contact for them.
Well, you should be the source. You should be the person that when they need a landscaper,
Yeah.
you're their call. When they need a mover, you're their call. That kind of thing, right? They need an attorney, they're right. So yeah, that's the way it should be. So it sounds like Real is onto something. I mean, they're growing quickly nationwide, right? And they're growing quickly here.
I think we just crossed the 10,000 agent mark across the country. I think here in California, 12,000, and I think California, we're now roughly at 1,500 agents in the state of California.
Yeah.
So it's growing. 2,000. Thanks,
There you
Al.
go. There you go. Yeah, there you go.
2,000 agents now.
So the growth curve is starting to steepen, right? So you guys are starting to catch fire. You're starting to get some momentum going, not just here in Chula Vista, but basically California wide. And so one of the things that we know in real estate from the couple of days I've been doing this is real estate companies will incubate a lot of ideas and a lot of strategies and things here. And then that if it works here, they'll take it and they'll replicate it worldwide, right? Nationwide first and then worldwide. And so it's cool that the San Diego numbers are where they are and the California numbers are, because this is literally where when you catch fire here, that's when the rest of the nation will catch fire.
And there's a joke that California is always 6 months ahead in terms of new technologies, in terms of different real estate trends that tend to follow across the country elsewhere. So if it's happening here, then we know it's going to follow with the rest of the country.
Yeah, I would say that's actually longer than 6 months. I think it's more like a year and a half.
Well, inflation now, everything's a lot longer, right?
Well, yeah, that's true, right? So anyway, that's just my opinion, but take it for what's worth.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your real estate business, right? Yes. So you're now your own deal. Are you looking to build a team? Are you looking to add to your brand? What are you looking to do in the future?
Right now, in the short term, is for me to build up my own personal brand. Marc Anthony Realty. continue going through that aspect. After being part of a team for 5 years and working as closely with Max and Claudia, being the team lead and just seeing the amount of people that come in and out of this industry, like building a team, like it is mentally exhausting and draining, which you've seen.
Yeah.
So I'm not ruling out starting a team, but it is going to be very, very specialized, and it takes a certain person for me that I'm looking for to be able to coach them and develop them the way that I was.
Okay, so talk about who that person needs to look like.
That person needs to lead with curiosity.
Okay.
Come in not knowing anything.
I've heard that before. Where have I heard that before? Sorry.
Yeah.
It's in my training, by the way. It's what we teach.
5 years ago.
Yeah,
It's still here.
I
right?
love it, dude. I love it.
People that they expect things to be tough, and for them to be able to persevere and push through it and not quit.
Yeah.
I mean, you either believe that you can or you can't. Both people are generally right.
Yeah, it's true. According
So-
to Henry Ford, if you believe you can or if you believe you can't, you're right.
That's
it.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Somebody who's going to do what they're going to, or do what they're going to do, right?
Do what they say they're going to
Sorry,
do.
there we go. Do what they say they're going to do. That's it.
Yeah.
Just high character, high values. That's it. Doesn't take much. It's very, very simple.
That's cool. Well, you never know. I might apply. Anyway, thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I think we covered a lot. Thank you for allowing me to share my story.
We did cover a lot. And, I'm glad you did this. I mean, from the bottom of my heart, I'm glad you did this. People are going to connect with you that were in oil and gas. They're going to connect with you that lived in Klamath Falls, or we're going to move, you know what I'm saying? Modesto, whatever. It's, some of them are going to connect with you because their mom's from Mexico. Okay. I mean, first generation. I mean, there's a lot here that people can connect with you on. And we're going to put your contact information in the description. We'll put your link to your website in the description, that kind of thing. I cannot thank you enough for doing this. You truly are one of my favorite people in the world.
Thank you.
And this has been an absolute pleasure doing this. So thanks again for being on the Mike Litton Experience.
Thank you for having me, Mike.
I love you, buddy.
Love you too, man.
We hope you enjoyed another episode of the Mike Litton Experience. If you did, do us a favor, smash that subscribe button, tell your friends, family, and coworkers about our program, and wherever you get your podcasts, please leave us a rating. It helps us to connect with quality people just like you.
And that's a wrap. Another episode of the Mike Litton Experience in the books. Reach out to Mike on Instagram at Litton Realty. Want to meet with Mike? Check out calendly.com/Rio760.